The garden pavilion is full of silk and roses and hungry eyes. 300 guests, vampire nobles, bloodline elders, and human allies with shaking smiles, watch the bride glide toward the altar like she owns the world. Genevieve Voron's dress is white, her lips are red, and her hand keeps drifting to her stomach in a way that makes people whisper, thrilled and soft. An air. Dante Ashford, the vampire king of the Western Territories, stands waiting in black, calm as a statue, his silver-white hair tied back, his face unreadable. The officiant lifts his hands to begin, then Dante raises one finger. The music dies mid-note, the wind stops, even the candles seem to hold their breath. Dante's voice is gentle, almost warm. "Before I marry you," he says, "I need you to answer one simple question, my love." Genevieve's smile twitches. "Dante, not now." He steps off the altar with slow control, like a predator choosing a pace. "Who is the father of the child you're carrying?" The crowd explodes, chairs scrape, gasps turn to shouts. Someone laughs like they've been waiting for blood. Genevieve freezes with her bouquet half lifted, eyes wide, a split second too slow. Dante turns his head slightly and the air feels colder. "Bring her forward," he says. From the shadows at the edge of the pavilion, a human maid stumbles into view, black uniform, trembling hands, chin lifted like she's forcing her spine to stay straight. Iris Bennett, 23. New hire, invisible to everyone. Until now, Dante's gaze lands on her, and it's not kind, not cruel, it's certain. "Tell them," he says softly. Iris swallows hard. "Your Majesty," the crowd hisses at the sound of a human voice daring to exist here. Dante doesn't look away from Genevieve. "Tell them what you heard," he repeats. Iris's throat tightens like a fist is closing around it. "I heard her," Iris says, voice shaking but loud enough. "I heard her tell Harrison Vale she was pregnant with his child. And she was going to make you raise it as your heir." Genevieve's face goes pale, then red, then pale again so fast it looks like fear fighting rage. "That's a lie," she snaps, the perfect bride mask cracking. "That little human is jealous, she wants attention. Dante, she is nothing." Dante's smile stays in place, but the temperature drops so sharply that frost crawls along the white rose petals at Genevieve's feet. "Nothing," Dante repeats, tasting the word. Then he reaches into his jacket, pulls out a phone, and taps play. Genevieve's own voice spills into the air, clear as a confession. "He's so desperate to be loved. It's almost pathetic. He'll claim the baby. He'll never question it." The sound is sweet and casual and cruel, like she's talking about a meal she's already swallowed. People gasp again, louder this time. A vampire duchess in the front row rises so fast her chair tips backward. A man in a gold signet ring whispers, horrified, "The king." Dante's eyes don't blink. Genevieve's bouquet slips from her fingers and hits the floor like a dropped weapon. Her lips part, and nothing comes out at first, because she can feel the room turning on her. Then Genevieve lunges for the phone with a snarl that is not pretty anymore. Dante moves 1 inch and she can't even touch him. It's like an invisible wall, like the world itself is loyal to him. Dante leans closer, voice still soft. "We are going to rewind," he says, almost kindly, "to the moment you thought you were safe." His gaze slides to the guests like he's including them in a lesson. "Because everyone here deserves to understand what kind of creature stands at my altar." 72 hours earlier, Iris Bennett stands in a laundry room that smells like bleach and expensive perfume, staring at her own hands as if they don't belong to her. She is trying to memorize rules that feel like they were written to keep humans alive. Eyes down, mouth shut, never speak first, never step into the king's wing without permission. Cordelia, the head housekeeper, is an ancient vampire with dead eyes and perfect posture. Cordelia tells Iris without emotion, "If you embarrass this house, you will not be fired. You will be removed." Iris doesn't ask what removed means. She's grown up in foster homes. She learned early that when people talk like that, you don't ask questions, you survive. She took this job because she had no choice. Her mother's medical bills stack like bricks. Her student loans keep calling like threats. The agency promised high pay and private estate work. They did not mention vampire royalty. Iris told herself she could handle anything for 6 months. Smile, clean, leave. That was the plan. Then she heard Genevieve. It happens in the guest wing in a room with blue wallpaper and a bathroom door that doesn't quite latch. Iris is changing linens, moving fast, being invisible. Voices slip through the crack like poison. Genevieve's voice is breathy and sharp. "Harrison, you can't keep calling me." A man's voice answers, desperate. "You're carrying my child, Jenny. How can you marry him?" There's a pause. Iris freezes with a sheet in her hands. Genevieve laughs, cold, bored. "Because your child will be Dante's heir." "Do you understand what that means? 7 kingdoms, 7. Harrison sounds broken. "You said you loved me." Genevieve's reply is easy. "I loved what you could give me then. Now I love what he can give me. Power, immortality for my baby through his blood, a crown." Harrison whispers, "He'll find out." Genevieve says, like she's commenting on whether Dante sees what I want him to see. He's so desperate to be loved. It's almost pathetic. Iris backs away like the words might bite her. Her heart slams against her ribs. The sensible thing is to leave, forget, pretend. Vampire politics is not a human maid's problem. But then she sees Dante later that day, passing through the hall with his brother Felix, smiling at something Felix says. Dante stops to pet one of the estate cats like it's a normal life. He thanks a servant for arranging flowers. His voice is warm when he says, "Make sure there are gardenias. Genevieve loves them." Iris feels something twist inside her, not romance, not admiration, something older, a memory of her father at the kitchen table staring at a letter, hands shaking, while Iris stood in the doorway and realized her mother had been living another life with another family. Iris remembers the silence that swallowed their house after that. Iris remembers how nobody warned him. Nobody told him. Silence protected the liar. Silence always protects the liar. For 2 days, Iris fights herself. She tells herself she's powerless. She tells herself she's a nobody. She tells herself that if she speaks, she dies. The estate is full of cameras, guards, ancient beings who can smell fear like perfume. Then on the 3rd day, the ballroom is being prepared. The staff filters out. Iris is left alone with Dante by accident or fate or something darker. She tries to back away. Dante turns and notices her like a storm noticing a candle. His eyes are gray, old, sharp. Not unkind, dangerous in a quiet way. "The gardenias look perfect," he says, mistaking her approach for service. Iris's mouth opens and closes, her whole body shakes. She thinks of her mother's lies, she thinks of Genevieve's laugh. She thinks of the way Dante said gardenias like it meant home. Iris steps closer, keeping her voice low. "Your Majesty," she whispers. "I need to tell you something, and you will either thank me or kill me, but I can't stay silent." Dante's expression shifts like a blade turning. "You have 10 seconds, he says softly. "Make this worth my time, little human." Iris inhales like it might be her last breath. "Your fiancée is pregnant," she says, "by her ex." The candles in the ballroom all go out at once. Not one by one, all at once. 300 flames swallowed by darkness like a mouth closing. Iris can't stop a tiny sound of fear. She thinks he's done something to punish her. Then Dante speaks, calm as silk. "Tell me everything," he says. Iris tells him every word, every detail. She doesn't soften it. She doesn't look away. When she finishes, silence stretches so long she almost collapses. Then Dante laughs, low, thunderous, not happy. It rolls through the dark ballroom like something waking up. "I have ended bloodlines for less," he says, voice thick with an old accent that sounds like ancient stone. He steps closer and Iris smells expensive cologne and something wild underneath. He looks at her like she's a strange new weapon. "Can you prove it?" Iris swallows. "Check the East Side entrance cameras. Verify the pregnancy timeline. You were traveling. She was." Dante's smile turns beautiful and vicious. "Smart girl." Iris expects death. Instead, she gets transferred that night to a small cottage on the far end of the Ashford property. Warm light, soft bed, quiet that feels too safe to be real. It feels like a pretty box. A place you put something before you decide what to do with it. Iris packs and unpacks and packs again, nerves tearing at her stomach. Then there's a knock. When she opens the door, Dante Ashford stands on her porch like he belongs everywhere. "May I come in?" he asks. Iris steps aside because refusing doesn't feel like an option. Dante enters, glances around, and nods as if approving a cage. He sits without waiting to be invited. You're afraid of me, he says. Iris forces honesty. Yes, Dante's mouth curves. Good, fear means you're paying attention. He leans forward, elbows on his knees, gaze fixed on her like he's measuring her soul. The wedding will proceed in 2 days, he says. Iris blinks. Proceed. After this. Dante's voice stays calm. Especially after this, true revenge requires an audience. His eyes narrow slightly. And it requires someone my fiancé never notices, someone invisible, someone human. You want me to spy, Iris says. I want you to be my eyes, Dante corrects. And when I break her lie in front of the Seven Kingdom representatives, I want her to see the face of the person she dismissed as nothing. Iris's throat tightens. She'll kill me. Dante's smile turns thin. She'll try. Iris should say no, she should run, but she can't stop seeing her father's face. Iris nods once slow. What do you need? Dante's gaze sharpens like satisfaction. I need you to confirm whether Harrison is still contacting her, he says. I need you to find where she hides her private phone. He pauses, then adds softly, and I need you to understand something, Iris Bennett. Iris stiffens at her name in his mouth. If you betray me, Dante says quietly, there is nowhere in this world you can hide. The next 48 hours feel like walking through a room full of sleeping bombs. Iris moves through the estate refilling drinks, folding fabric, adjusting flowers, doing her job while hunting secrets with a heartbeat that never slows. Genevieve is radiant and cruel up close, kissing Dante's cheek when people watch, whispering sweet words like she's paid to say them. When no one is looking, her eyes are calculating, scanning rooms, counting power. Iris sees her slip into the guest wing at odd hours. Iris sees a strange man's shadow near the east entrance at night. Iris sees Felix, Dante's younger brother, watching everything with a tight jaw and hands that keep curling like he wants to punch someone. On the night before the wedding, Dante summons Iris back to the cottage. This time he brings a bottle of wine and 2 glasses like he's pretending they're normal people. Iris doesn't drink much, but she accepts because refusing feels dangerous in a different way. Dante pours, then sits across from her, quiet for a moment. You think this is just pride, he says. You think I'm punishing her because she embarrassed me. Iris watches him carefully. Isn't it? Dante's eyes flicker, something wounded moving behind them. I had a sister, he says softly. She trusted the wrong man, he poisoned her, stole our family artifacts. She survived, but her voice never came back. Iris's chest tightens. Dante's jaw clenches like he hates that he said it out loud. So when Genevieve laughed at my hope, he says, voice low, she didn't just betray me, she used old grief like a knife. Iris finds herself speaking without permission. My mother did that, she says. Dante looks up. Iris's fingers grip the glass. She disappeared when I was 4. Then I found out later she had another family, another husband, other kids, like we were just a mistake she forgot to clean up. The words taste bitter. My dad never recovered. Dante's gaze stays on her, steady, listening like it matters. Iris hates that it makes her throat burn. Dante lifts his glass slightly. To the broken parts that make us brave, he says. Iris clinks her glass against his because something in her recognizes something in him. They drink, and for one strange minute Iris feels safe with a monster. Then Dante's voice turns colder again, controlled. Tomorrow will be brutal, he says. Are you certain you want to be part of it? Iris thinks of silence, of her father, of the way Genevieve said pathetic. Iris nods, I'm certain. Dante leans forward and speaks like a promise. Good, he says, because tomorrow I don't just expose her. His smile is quiet and terrifying. I erase her future. The wedding day comes, and Genevieve plays the perfect bride, and Dante plays the perfect groom, and Iris stands at the edge of the world holding her breath. Everything goes exactly as planned, until Dante stops the music, asks the question, and plays the recording. Iris expects Genevieve to collapse. Instead, Genevieve's eyes sharpen like a blade and snap to Iris with sudden understanding. Genevieve's lips curl. Oh, she says softly, and the sound is venom. So you are his little weapon. Then she turns back to Dante and smiles, slow, confident, almost amused, like the exposed lie doesn't scare her the way it should. You're making a mistake, she says, voice carrying. You think you're humiliating me. She tilts her head. but you just walked into my trap. The crowd quiets, confused. Dante's expression doesn't change, but Iris feels the air shift like a door opening under their feet. Genevieve's hand slides into her bouquet into a hidden pocket, and she pulls out a thin black charm that looks like burnt metal. "Do you want the truth?" Genevieve purrs. "Fine." She raises the charm toward Dante. "I'm not here for your crown, I'm here for your death." Felix swears. Several elders stand at once. Dante doesn't move until Iris feels something on her skin, a strange heat beneath her collarbone like a symbol waking up. Iris sucks in a breath, fingers flying to her chest. Under the fabric of her uniform, something is glowing. Dante's gaze drops to Iris's collarbone, and for the first time since this began, his calm cracks. Not fear, recognition. His voice comes out different, sharp with disbelief. "Impossible," he whispers. Genevieve's smile widens, triumphant. "Not impossible," she says, "just hidden until now." Her eyes lock on Iris like a predator finally claiming its prey. "Tell them, Dante," Genevieve whispers sweetly. "Tell them what your little human maid really is." Iris's throat closes. The glow under her skin pulses again, hotter, like a heartbeat that isn't hers. Dante takes one slow step toward Iris, eyes storm-dark, voice low enough that it feels like it's for her alone. "Iris Bennett," he says, and the way he says it sounds like the world is about to break. "Who are you?" And in the dead silence of the pavilion, between 300 hungry witnesses and one bride who looks like she's already won, Iris realizes the worst truth of all. Dante didn't bring her here to protect her. He brought her here because she was the key to something ancient, and someone just turned the lock. The glow under Iris's collarbone pulses again, hot and bright like something alive trying to claw its way out of her skin. She grips the neckline of her uniform with shaking fingers, desperate to hide it, but the fabric is thin and the light is cruel. The closest vampires flinch back like they can smell what it means. A ripple of fear runs through the pavilion, sharper than the earlier scandal. Betrayal is entertainment. Ancient magic is not. Genevieve lifts her chin, smiling like she just turned the entire wedding into a public execution. "Don't look so surprised," she says sweetly to Dante, voice loud enough for the front rows. "You built your kingdom on secrets. Did you really think you were the only one who could hide something right under everyone's nose?" Her bouquet lies forgotten on the ground. In her hand, the black charm hums, a dead metal thing that seems to drink light instead of reflecting it. "Tell them," Genevieve purrs. "Tell them what she is." Dante doesn't answer her. He stares at Iris like the world has tilted. His face is calm, but his eyes are not. They're storm gray and locked, scanning Iris's features as if he's seeing the outline of someone else inside her. Iris's throat feels sealed shut. Her heart hammers so hard she thinks everyone can hear it. "I don't know," she whispers, barely audible. "I don't know what that is." Her voice cracks. "I swear." Felix steps forward, half in front of Dante, protective by instinct. "Back away from her," he snaps at Genevieve. Genevieve laughs. "From her? Your brother should be backing away from her. That mark is older than your little royal bloodline. That is not a human mark." She pivots toward the crowd, playing them like an orchestra. "My lords, my ladies, this isn't just a cheating bride story. This is a succession crisis. This is a war story." She turns back to Dante, eyes glittering. "Your precious maid isn't a maid. She's a key." The word hits the air and sinks in. Key. Iris feels dizzy. Like she's standing on the edge of a cliff and the ground is starting to crumble. Dante's hand lifts a fraction like he wants to reach for her but doesn't trust himself. "Cordelia," he says, voice suddenly sharper than steel. The head housekeeper appears at the edge of the pavilion almost instantly, eyes narrowed, posture perfect. "Your Majesty." Dante's gaze doesn't move from Iris. "Did you know?" Cordelia's expression flickers barely, but Felix sees it. Dante sees it. Genevieve sees it and smiles wider. Cordelia hesitates one heartbeat too long. "I suspected," she admits, but she had no memory, no training, no signs. Iris stares at Cordelia in disbelief. "You suspected what?" Iris says, voice rising despite herself. "You told me I was nothing. You treated me like a disposable mop." Cordelia's eyes finally meet Iris. Because if you remembered, Cordelia says quietly, you would have been hunted. The crowd erupts again, but this time it's not gossiping outrage. It's alarm. Vampires shift positions. Elders lean toward each other, whispering old names. Iris catches fragments like knives. Sunmark, no, impossible. The severed court. The old covenant. She doesn't understand any of it, but she understands the tone. They don't look at her like a person anymore. They look at her like a threat that might wake up. Dante steps closer to Iris, slow and careful, like approaching an animal that's already cornered. Iris, he says softly, and the softness is what scares her most. Look at me, she does, because his voice is a hook in her spine. You told me the truth, he continues. You saved me from Genevieve's lie. His eyes flick down to the glowing mark again, then back up. But I need to know something now, and I need you to answer honestly. Iris's mouth is dry. Okay. Dante's voice drops. Did anyone send you here? Iris's stomach drops like she's been punched. No, she says immediately. No one sent me. I took the job because I needed money. Her hands shake. My mom is sick. I'm drowning. Her voice breaks. I didn't even know vampires were real until I got here. Dante's gaze searches her like he can taste truth. After a long second, he nods once, small. I believe you. Genevieve claps, slow and mocking. How romantic, she says. The mighty king believes in the innocent little maid. She lifts the black charm higher. But belief doesn't change what she is. Genevieve's eyes harden. And what she is belongs to me. She flicks her wrist and the charm screams, an ugly sound like metal scraping bone. The air snaps. Iris gasps as an invisible force yanks her forward, ripping her off balance. It feels like chains inside her blood suddenly tightening. She stumbles, choking, hands clawing at nothing. Dante moves instantly, too fast for human eyes, but he hits an invisible wall mid-step, as if the ground itself refuses him. Genevieve's smile is ecstatic. Ah, she breathes. There it is, the bond. She turns slightly to the front row, speaking like she's teaching a lesson. This is why I chose this wedding day. The old magic needs witnesses, the old magic needs public truth, and Dante, you gave me both. Her gaze locks on Dante like a kiss and a knife at once. You exposed me in front of the 7 kingdoms. She shrugs, almost playful. Congratulations, now I expose you. Dante's jaw tightens. What did you do? Genevieve's eyes glow with triumph. I didn't do it, she corrects. Your ancestors did. They made a covenant to secure their rule. She gestures to Iris, who is shaking, trapped in invisible pressure. They stole a bloodline older than yours and used it as a lock on your crown. And they swore that if the rightful line ever returned, your crown would either kneel or bleed. The world tilts again. Iris can't breathe right. The mark burns hotter like it's reacting to Genevieve's words. Felix snaps, stop talking in riddles. Genevieve laughs. Oh, poor Felix, you don't know the bedtime stories. She turns to the crowd, raising her voice so it carries. This mark is the seal of the Dawn blood. Gasps hit like bullets. An elder in the front row whispers, the Dawn blood is extinct. Genevieve's grin widens. Apparently not. Iris's vision blurs at the edges. Dawn blood, extinct, seal. None of it makes sense, but she feels it, something under her skin waking like a long-sleeping beast. She looks at Dante, desperate. I don't know what she's talking about, Iris says, voice shaking. Dante, I swear I don't. The invisible pressure tightens and Iris cries out, dropping to one knee. Her palms hit the stone path. It feels like her bones are vibrating. Dante's eyes flash with something murderous. Release her, he says, and the calm is gone now. His voice is the kind of calm that comes before disaster. Now. Genevieve's expression turns almost tender. I would, she says softly, but I can't. She holds the charm steady. This charm doesn't control her, it reveals her. Genevieve leans in slightly, voice like velvet poison. And once the Dawn blood is revealed in front of a royal altar, it can't be hidden again. She lifts her chin. Every hunter in every shadow will smell her now. The crowd erupts fear, excitement, greed. Iris sees it in their eyes, not all of them, but enough. Some vampires look at her like she's a prize. Some look like they want to run. Some look like they want to bow. Iris's stomach turns. She tries to stand, but the force keeps her pinned. "Dante," she whispers, "please." Dante's face goes deadly still. He turns his head slightly, eyes sweeping the crowd. Iris has never seen him look like this. Not king, not groom. This is something older, something that doesn't negotiate. "Everyone back," Dante says quietly. Now, several vampires hesitate. Dante's voice rises a fraction and the air vibrates. "Back," he repeats. This time the command is not a request, it's a law. The front rows retreat as if dragged by invisible hands. Genevieve's smile flickers. "Oh," she murmurs, impressed. "You're scared." Dante doesn't deny it. His gaze stays on Iris. "I'm not scared of you," he says to Genevieve. "I'm scared for her." That line does something to Iris. It cuts through the burning in her skin and the chaos around her. For a second she remembers the cottage, the wine, the quiet, the way Dante listened, the way he looked at her like she mattered. Iris's eyes sting. "I didn't ask for this," she whispers. Genevieve hears her and laughs. "Nobody asks to be special," Genevieve says, "but special is useful." Then Genevieve turns and the grin becomes sharp again. "Here's the part you'll love," she says to Dante. "You exposed me, so I'll give you a gift." Her eyes glitter. "The baby is Harrison's." Silence detonates. Even the wind seems stunned. Dante's face doesn't move, but Iris feels the air around him change, like a room suddenly losing oxygen. Felix swears again, louder. "What?" someone in the crowd blurts. Genevieve's smile is pure cruelty. "Did you really think I'd be stupid enough to carry a human child into a vampire throne?" She tilts her head. "Harrison was a tool, a decoy, something to make you focus on the obvious betrayal." She looks directly at Iris now. "The real father is standing right here." Iris's breath catches so hard it hurts. Dante's gaze snaps to Genevieve, and for the first time something like shock cracks through his control. "No," Dante says low. Genevieve shrugs. "Yes." She lets the words fall like stones. "I'm pregnant by your brother." Pavilion becomes chaos. Shouting erupts. Vampires surge forward. Felix turns white, then furious. "You lying?" he snarls. Genevieve laughs, delighted. "Oh, Felix," she says, "don't look so offended. You were drunk, you were lonely, you hated how Dante had everything." Felix lunges, but security grabs him. Dante's hand lifts and everyone freezes again like puppets. His eyes are on Felix now, and Iris has never seen grief weaponized like this. "Felix," Dante says, voice quiet. "Tell me she's lying." Felix's mouth opens, closes, his eyes dart away. That's all it takes. Not a confession, not a word, just a flicker of guilt. And Dante's world shatters in public. Iris feels it, how the power dynamic flips in a single heartbeat. Dante isn't just betrayed by a bride now, he's betrayed by blood, by the only person he trusted enough to stand beside him at the altar. The crowd feels it too. You can see the calculation begin. Weakness, division, a king bleeding from the inside. Genevieve smiles like she's sipping victory. "You see," she says softly, "the scandal was never the point. The point was to split you, to make you unstable." She lifts the charm again and Iris's mark flares. Iris screams, the sound ripped out of her. Genevieve's voice rises, triumphant. "Now the kingdoms will do what they always do when they smell weakness. They will choose a new ruler." Dante's face goes blank, terrifyingly blank. "You think you've won," he says. Genevieve lifts her brows. "I have." Dante turns his head slightly, eyes scanning the crowd again, then back to Iris. His voice drops, intimate. "Iris," he says, "listen to me carefully." Iris's vision swims. "I can't move," she gasps. "I can't." Dante's eyes harden with decision. "You can," he says. "You just don't know you can." Iris shakes her head, crying, terror and pain mixing. I'm not like you. I'm not." Dante's voice cuts through, fierce now. "You are not a weapon," he says. "You are not a key for anyone's crown." He steps closer until he's right in front of her, and though the invisible force still pins her, his presence feels like shelter. "You are a person," he says, voice rough, "and I will not let them turn you into a throne room tool." He takes a slow breath, like choosing something expensive. "But to save you, I may have to do something the kingdoms will never forgive." Genevieve's eyes narrow. "What are you planning?" Dante doesn't look at her. His gaze stays on Iris. "A trade," he says simply. He lifts his hand and presses 2 fingers gently to Iris's glowing collarbone. The mark sears under his touch, but his eyes don't flinch. Iris gasps and the pressure on her body flickers, like the chains hesitate. Dante murmurs so low only Iris hears. "Give me permission," he says. "Just once." "Permission for what?" Iris whispers, shaking. "To bind you to me," Dante says, jaw tight. "Not as property, as protection." He meets her eyes, and for a heartbeat the king is gone and it's just a wounded man begging a terrified girl to trust him. "If you don't," he whispers, "they will take you. They will rip you apart for whatever power they think is inside you." Iris's breath stutters. She looks at the crowd, at the hungry faces, at Genevieve's delighted cruelty, at Felix's guilt and panic. Iris feels like prey. Then she looks at Dante and remembers the one thing that made her speak up in the first place. Silence protects liars, and she refuses to be silent again. "I trust you," Iris whispers. Dante's eyes flash. "Say it clearly," he demands, voice shaking with control. "Say yes." Iris swallows, tears falling. "Yes," she says. The mark erupts, light blasting outward like sunrise inside a storm. The entire pavilion is bathed in gold. Vampires scream and shield their eyes. Genevieve staggers, suddenly unsure. Dante's hand stays on Iris's collarbone, and Iris feels something snap, not inside her body but around it. The invisible chains shatter like glass. Iris collapses forward, breath ragged, and Dante catches her. And then the real twist hits, massive and absolute. Because the light doesn't just free Iris. It bows. Every candle in the pavilion ignites at once, not in cold vampire flame, but in warm, living fire. The air fills with a pressure that makes elders drop to one knee without understanding why. Iris lifts her head in Dante's arms, trembling, and sees vampires staring at her, with something she has never seen on their faces before. Not hunger, not fear, reverence. Genevieve's smile disappears. Her voice comes out sharp. "No," she snaps, staring at Iris's now blazing mark. "That's not possible. That's not how this works." Dante slowly stands, Iris in his arms like something precious and dangerous. His voice is quiet, but it carries like law. "It works how she decides," Dante says. An elder in the front row whispers, shaking, "The Dawn blood doesn't serve kings, it chooses them." Genevieve's eyes widen with sudden panic. Because she didn't just reveal Iris. She accidentally crowned her. And Iris, shaking, confused, furious, stares at the entire room like it's a nightmare that just handed her a throne she never wanted. Her voice comes out raw. "I didn't ask for your crowns," she says, louder now. "I didn't ask for your magic. I came here to clean rooms and pay hospital bills." Her gaze snaps to Genevieve. "You used me." Genevieve's lips part, searching for control again. "No," Genevieve says quickly, voice slick. "I freed you. I showed you what you are. You should thank me." Iris laughs once, sharp and broken. "Thank you." Iris spits, and the air trembles with her emotion. The candles flare brighter, reacting to her like the world is listening. "You tried to kill me in front of 300 people." Iris looks at Dante, then at Felix, then at the crowd. Her eyes burn with a new kind of anger, one that feels bigger than her body. "All of you," she says, voice shaking, "looked at me like a thing, like a prize, like a tool I'm not." Dante's grip tightens around Iris, protective. Felix stares at Iris like he's seeing a legend walk out of a storybook and slap him in the face. Genevieve takes a step back. And Iris, still in a maid uniform, still trembling, becomes the center of the world without trying. Then Dante turns to Genevieve and his voice drops like a guillotine. "You wanted power," Dante says softly. "You wanted a crown." His eyes are ice. "Congratulations." He tilts his head toward Iris. "Now you're standing in front of the only person in this room the crown might actually answer to." Genevieve's breath catches. Her fingers tighten around the black charm like it's her last lifeline. And Iris feels it. She could destroy Genevieve with a thought. She doesn't know how, but she feels the option, sitting in her bones like a loaded gun. Dante leans down, whispers in Iris's ear. "This is the moment," he says. "They'll all follow your lead. Whatever you do next becomes law." Iris's hands shake. Her eyes sting. Her mind screams that none of this is real. But Genevieve is right there, smiling less now, eyes calculating an escape route. Iris looks at Dante and sees the truth. He's willing to burn the world to keep her safe. And Iris realizes something else, chilling and clear. If she uses this power, she can save herself. But she might become the monster everyone thinks she is. Iris lifts her chin, and she speaks a sentence that makes the entire pavilion freeze again. "Genevieve Voron," Iris says, voice steady now, "I'm going to make you choose." Genevieve swallows. "Choose what?" Iris's eyes narrow, and the candles flare like they're hungry. "You can confess everything," Iris says, "including who paid you, who you're working with, and why you came here to split this kingdom." Iris steps forward out of Dante's arms, standing on her own. "Or," Iris continues, voice low, "I take this power you woke up in and I use it on you in front of everyone." Genevieve's face tightens. "You wouldn't," she whispers. Iris's smile is small and terrifying. "Try me." And Genevieve, who walked into this wedding expecting to humiliate a king, realizes she just handed the throne to the wrong girl. The entire pavilion waits for Genevieve to answer, and for the first time since she walked down the aisle in white, she looks small. Not weak, not harmless, but cornered. Iris stands in front of her in a simple black maid's dress, the dawn blood mark glowing through the fabric like sunrise trapped under skin. The candles answer to her heartbeat now. The air bends toward her without asking permission. 300 powerful vampires stare at a human girl who never wanted power and somehow holds it anyway. Dante stands just behind her, not shielding her this time, but steady, like he understands that if he steps in now, he steals the choice from her. And this choice matters more than any crown. Genevieve's fingers tighten around the black charm. "You don't understand what you're threatening," she says, trying to regain that smooth, superior tone. "If you use that power publicly, you confirm the old covenant is broken. The kingdoms will fracture. War will follow. You won't just punish me, you'll destabilize everything." Iris doesn't blink. "You already tried to destabilize everything," she replies. "You brought war to the altar." A murmur spreads through the crowd. Some nod. Some look furious. Some look afraid. Felix watches Genevieve like he's trying to decide whether he hates her or himself more. Genevieve shifts tactics. Her voice softens, almost pleading. "Iris, listen to me. You think Dante is protecting you. He bound you to him in front of witnesses. That wasn't just protection, that was strategy. He secured the Dawn blood to his throne." A few elders exchange looks at that. The accusation lands. Dante's jaw tightens, but he doesn't interrupt. Iris feels the weight of the claim. She remembers the way Dante asked for permission, the way he said, "Say yes." She remembers that he could have forced it. He didn't. Iris turns her head slightly. "Did you bind me to secure your crown?" she asks him quietly. The entire pavilion leans in. Dante doesn't hesitate. "Yes," he says. The word hits like thunder. Felix exhales sharply. Genevieve smiles like she just found oxygen again. "There," she says, "you see." But Don isn't finished. "Yes," he repeats, voice steady, "I secured the crown." He steps forward so he's standing beside Iris, not behind her. "Because if I hadn't, they would have torn you apart to see how you worked." His eyes sweep the crowd without apology. "You think I don't know my own people? You think I don't know what desperate rulers do when something ancient and powerful appears without warning?" His gaze returns to Iris. "I secured the crown so it would answer to you instead of consuming you. If that makes me strategic, then I accept that." Iris studies him. She feels the bond between them like a thread of heat, not ownership but connection. He didn't lie. He didn't dress it up. He told the truth in front of everyone. That matters. Genevieve's confidence falters again. "It doesn't change what he is," she insists. "He's still a king who rules through fear." Iris looks at her calmly. "And you rule through lies." The silence that follows is heavy and decisive. Iris takes one step closer to Genevieve. The candles flare brighter, reacting to her anger. "You said you'd split the fortune. You said you'd remove him from power. You didn't come alone." Her voice drops. Who sent you? Genevieve's lips press thin. No one sent me. Iris lifts her hand slightly and the charm in Genevieve's grip begins to smoke. Genevieve gasps, tightening her hold. Careful, Iris says softly. You don't control that magic. I do. A crack forms in Genevieve's composure. You don't know how to use it, she spits. You're guessing. Iris tilts her head. Maybe, she says, but I don't need to know everything to know when someone's lying. She steps even closer. Last chance. The mark under her skin pulses and a low vibration spreads through the stone under their feet. Who sent you? Genevieve's eyes flick to the crowd, calculating. Then something shifts in her expression, fear, real fear. The Eastern Coalition, she says quickly, gasps ripple outward. They're tired of Ashford dominance. They wanted division, a scandal, a fracture between brothers. Her gaze darts toward Felix. I was supposed to marry him if Dante fell. That was the backup plan. Felix looks like he's been slapped. Dante doesn't look at his brother. His eyes remain on Genevieve, unreadable. You were a pawn, Iris says quietly. Genevieve laughs bitterly. We're all pawns, you just don't know it yet. Iris considers her. All the rage she felt earlier is still there, but now it's layered with something else. Clarity. If she destroys Genevieve publicly, burns her with Dawnblood power, humiliates her the way Genevieve tried to humiliate Dante, she proves she's just another ruler who uses fear. If she spares her completely, she risks looking weak and invites more attacks. The kingdoms are watching, waiting, measuring her. Dante leans slightly toward her, voice low enough that only she hears. Whatever you decide, he says, I stand with you. There is no command in it, no manipulation, just commitment. Iris exhales slowly. Then she makes her choice. Genevieve Voron, Iris says, her voice echoing without effort. You wanted a public spectacle, you wanted humiliation. The candles dim slightly, not in weakness but in control. You won't get it. A murmur of confusion spreads. Genevieve blinks. What? Iris continues. You will leave this estate alive. You will keep your child, and every kingdom here will know exactly why you were banished. She turns slightly, addressing the entire pavilion. Not because I destroyed her, but because she destroyed herself. The power in the air shifts, not explosive but firm. I refuse, Iris says clearly, to build my future on someone else's ashes. The line lands like a verdict. Dante's eyes close briefly, not in disappointment, but in something like pride. Genevieve stares at Iris, stunned. You're letting me go, she whispers. Iris's gaze hardens. No, she says calmly, I'm letting you live with it. She lifts her hand one final time and the black charm in Genevieve's grip shatters into dust. The force around the pavilion evaporates. The pressure disappears, but something else remains, certainty. An elder in the front row slowly lowers to one knee. Then another. Then another. It spreads like falling dominoes. Not because they were forced. Because they chose. The dawn blood did not burn. It did not slaughter. It chose restraint. And that terrifies them more than destruction ever could. Dante looks around at the kneeling elders, then at Iris. Well, he murmurs quietly, almost amused through the tension. That was unexpected. Iris lets out a shaky breath. I don't want a throne, she says under her breath. Dante's lips curve faintly. That, he replies, is exactly why you'd survive one. Felix steps forward slowly, guilt written all over his face. I was used, he says hoarsely. I should have seen it. Dante finally looks at him. The silence between brothers is heavy. You should have, Dante says. It's not shouted, it's not cruel, it's worse. Honest. Felix nods once. I'll fix it, he says. Dante studies him for a long moment. Then he says, you will. Genevieve is escorted away, not dragged, not attacked, but watched by hundreds of eyes that will never forget her failure. The Eastern Coalition has just declared itself without meaning to. War might still come, but not because Iris lost control. Because she showed she had it. The pavilion slowly empties, whispers trailing behind every guest. Alliances will shift tonight. Stories will spread. But one truth is already locked in place. The girl they thought was nothing just changed the balance of power without spilling a drop of blood. When the last outsider leaves, silence settles over the estate. Iris stands very still. The glow under her skin fades to a soft warmth instead of a blaze. Dante steps closer, searching her face. "Are you angry?" he asks quietly. Iris thinks about it. "No," she says honestly. "I'm tired." She looks at him. "And I don't want to be anyone's weapon." Dante nods once. "Then you won't be." He takes her hand, not possessive, not commanding, equal. The crown didn't kneel to him. It responded to her. And in front of everyone, Dante did something no one expected from a vampire king. He bowed, not as ruler to subject, as partner to partner. The power shift is complete. The girl who walked in as a maid just forced a kingdom to bend without cruelty. And now the real question isn't whether she can rule. It's whether she should. Because here's the controversial truth. Sometimes mercy is strength, and sometimes mercy invites the next betrayal. If you were Iris, would you have destroyed Genevieve to eliminate the threat completely? Or was sparing her the only way to prove you're different from the monsters around you? Pick a side in the comments, no middle ground. And if this story pulled you in, if you felt that twist, that shift, that moment when everything flipped, subscribe right now. Because the next story goes even darker. A vampire queen who chooses vengeance over mercy and what it costs her. Click the next video on your screen and step into that world with me. The night is just getting started.